Okay, so what you're doing now is, after identifying the part of the quote that you found most influential to you right now, what you're doing now is you're writing about, elaborating more than maybe including what you share with your partner as to why you picked that particular part and why you feel it was influential to you, why that part spoke to you. Okay, so continue writing, and that's the part you're focusing on. So it could be the same thing that you just shared with your partner. It could be maybe something you didn't get a chance to explain, but now you're going to write. But what I want you to do is do a reflection on which part of this quote is the most influential for you, that you think really stands out. So think of the piece that you relate to the most. And I'm going to give you 3 to 5 minutes, because this is actually going to be the beginning part of your homework for this evening. A lot of really good ideas. And it's okay to think. Sometimes we have to think about what we're going to write. So introspection, where we kind of consider what we have to write about and how do we feel about it, and then pause while we figure out what we're going to say about it. So that's fun. There are things you guys haven't really thought of before. So it's okay to think about it and take a position. Remember, introspection is when we ask somebody for advice and they tell us, it's kind of like advice to yourself, because you're thinking about what somebody just asked you. That's introspection. Now, there's a lot of thinking about new ideas that we haven't. So sometimes in looking at the world around us and how we write to discover ourselves, part of it is thinking about, what does this mean to me? But using the example of somebody else's life and applying it. So that's what you guys are doing. And so it's okay to think. You guys have some good ideas, and you shared some good ideas, and we gave you 2 examples, as Mika pointed out, from 2 diverse time periods. And yet they were both very courageous people. And like you guys, in your own way, are being really courageous. Do you have something that your personal experience that you've been courageous in, Michelle?
can't think of any.
I know one that I've seen you do.
What?
So you're dancing for your church.
Oh.
So a lot of people would have a hard time going out in public, but a lot of the cultural background of Hispanics are the Aztecs, and a lot of the ways they worship. And so Michelle's part of like a, will you tell us, Michelle? Because I've seen your performances.
Did you know she was in it too?
You're in it? No, I didn't know. Because when I went and saw you.
Yeah. Well, it's a tradition that we do December, the whole month of December. And so it's the day of the Virgin Mary, and we dance for her. And to praise her, not to praise her, but to show respect, you can say.
But I think the part that it's an Aztec tradition that you all have kept alive. Oh my gosh, you're supposed to turn off your phones in class, aren't you? Okay, well, I didn't. The fact that you're still keeping alive an Aztec tradition that is centuries old,
Yeah.
and it's a way of celebrating that I didn't realize you were in there. I guess when I went, I was looking for Michelle. But to keep that alive, that's a cultural aspect. And why are we doing this? And, you know, it's a tradition that and a culture that doesn't even exist anymore, but we're keeping it alive by continuing it. So I think that's courageous because it's not popular right now and people don't even know what it's about. But by doing it, you're educating people on this old tradition and culture. And that's what, isn't that what keeps traditions alive? Continuing to do them.
Unfortunately, many traditions have stopped.
Many. So it's up to us to keep them alive. So I think, thank you for keeping that alive, because I really liked going and seeing that and think about how they must have celebrated centuries ago had we been present. That would have been what everybody did. So the Azteca dances, it's nice. Do you guys pick your own uniforms?
No, this lady makes it for us.
But your symbols were all different on it. You got to pick the symbols, or she just picked them for you?
We picked the santo on the bottom, that's it.
Oh, what symbol do you have on yours?
San Judas Tadeo.
St. Jude? Yeah, those are so beautiful. Like, I want to buy one myself. So, Miguel, do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of grasp the idea of it.
Okay. So, have you seen them before do the Aztec dances? You have?
Yeah.
So maybe a different group, not Michelle.
Yeah.
Not Michelle and Melanie's group, but you've seen it. Like, where have you seen them?
Like my grandpa's neighborhood. You know, like sometimes it'll be like in December. You can drive around and you can see them like outside the houses.
With the big drums.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's like an awareness of the culture around us and learning from it. Okay, well, now I'll have to look for you. I didn't realize you were in it now.
She's in the front because she's short.
I don't think it is a compliment.
Well, yeah, I've just been looking for Michelle in the back. I didn't know that you were in the front. Oh my goodness, I have to look all through the group. You know what? There's this other kid that I have. What could we do with those difficult times?
Overcome it.
So,
With courage.
with courage. We're not having a good day. We're going to figure out what's making us feel maybe not our best. We're going to figure out a solution, and then we can go back to feeling better. Versus running away like Malala. She didn't say, oh, I wish I could go to school. I wish I could. I can't. So she was upset. She stayed home because she just felt bad about it. What did she do?
She did something to change that.
Spoke out against it.
She spoke out, but really, she just got on the bus that day. Because she wanted to, instead of being upset because of the adversity or the obstacle of limiting her access to an education, she decided to make herself happy, see what she could do, and she decided to get on that bus. And because of that, she's drawn attention worldwide to a problem that not everybody does. We take for granted that we can go to school every day. And as much as we sometimes complain, it's a privilege that not everybody has. Okay? So for right now, what I want you to do is think about something. Writing to discover ourselves, think about something that maybe has made you unhappy, but because of your courage to work beyond it, you are facing and challenging the adversity. Is this something that you've done? Instead of being upset and complaining, is there something that you did? So we all knew Martin Luther King didn't like that there were separate schools, and everybody said separate is equal. And what did Martin Luther King say? Separate is what? Equal? Or what did he say? Separate is not equal. We all need to go to the same schools.
Right. Desegregation.
Desegregation. Separate is not equal. Separate is some get better opportunities than others. So he was so unhappy that he decided to face the obstacles, which is integrating the schools. Malala was so unhappy that she couldn't go to school that she decided to face the challenges and face the idea, confront it that why can't girls go to school? Is that 15?
Hmm?
Is that 15?
Oh, you can keep going.
Huh?
You can keep going.
How much more?
You're gonna need like 3-5 more minutes.
Okay. So think of something that you've overcome in your own life, and why don't you guys take some quick notes about that? And write Hades, believe Hades. Because you can take out the audio on this part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just look at him writing. Finish off 3 minutes of them writing.